gotta be fucking kidding.
Oh, this is why we can't have nice things, peeps. Once again, our beloved executives at EA continue to do their typical practices, except this time it is on some of the most beloved games from their history. It has just been announced that Battlefield 1943, the two Bad Company games, and Mirror's Edge will be delisted from digital stores on April 28th. Right. You know, instead of me saying something cringe and just utterly autistic, I'm gonna let Angry Joe say it for me. Let's hear it, Joe.
You done fucked it up!
I honestly don't know what to say at this point. Like, what the hell, EA? It's one thing to release broken pieces of garbage like you did with Battlefield 2042 and Mass Effect Andromeda, or filling Battlefront 2 and Battlefield Hardline to the Madden series to the brim with microtransactions, but it is a whole nother thing when you revoke access to games that people love. Why? Genuinely, like, why? Mirror's Edge and Bad Company 2 are, alongside the Dead Space series, some of your most beloved games of your history. What exactly do you think you will gain from this? If anything, this is just going to be adding fuel to the hate fire that has been around you for years at this point. Yeah, you might be able to pump out a good game with Fallen Order and the remake of Dead Space, but for the most part, the majority of the titles you pump out your ass are shit. We're looking forward to creating new memories. What memories? More memories of busted ass launches where you practically scam people of their money? The reason people loved these two games is because they were well crafted and unique. More so for Mirror's Edge, a first-person parkour game that was practically unheard of in 2008. Yeah, the story wasn't all that great, but the gameplay more than made up for it, and the soundtrack was absolutely beautiful. Bad Company 2 was basically EA's answer to Modern Warfare 2. Both the multiplayer and the campaign were chaotic fun, and the character interactions within the campaign were awesome, man. Fuck! Obviously, this isn't the first time a company has done this, but it is a practice that none of us should accept. I bet my money that at some point in the future, EA will delist the original version of Dead Space. Mark my fucking words on that. There is no reason for taking such action, and some companies wouldn't even dare think about doing something like this because the legacy of their games that they hold are just too big to even think about delisting in the first place. Do you know what? I'll give 343 and Capcom credit here, because despite some of their games getting re-released as better versions or straight up remakes, at least they still have the originals for sale. Case in point, every Halo game that was released for the Xbox 360, despite being able to be played as backwards compatible titles and also the original servers being shut down, mainly because of the MCC existing and all that, but at least the original games are still around. And hell, they even allow you to still play custom games to experience the multiplayer in its original form. This is for like Halo 3, Reach, and so on and so forth. Let's go to Capcom. The original Resident Evil 4 is still up for sale despite the upcoming remake literally landing in our hands this Friday. Video game preservation is something that companies should take into consideration, because most, if not all the time, some of these games is what landed them a place in the industry to begin with. Rovio wouldn't be able to exist if it wasn't for the massive success of Angry Birds, but because they got greedy, they delisted a bunch of their other Angry Birds games, including the one that started it all. Now, as a result of that stupid fuck up, that franchise has gone into utter irrelevancy. EA, I don't care for future Battlefields or Mirror's Edge because you continue to fuck those games up, but at least I had the good games prior to go back to. Now, I do own these games already, folks, but what about the people who don't own them? What about future generations of gamers? They won't be able to experience how great these games are, and physical media for these games are going to go the prices are going to go up. Stuff like console exclusivity and delisting of titles is what led to things like emulation existing, because people had a burning passion for these games and wanted to keep them preserved as much as they can, unlike these stupid execs that run these companies. Jesus Christ, man. I'm really sorry if I'm just kind of tilted at the moment, but it's just stuff like this that just pisses me off. Any form of media should be preserved to be experienced by later generations. But until these stupid as fuck corpos realise that, more great games are going to keep disappearing, and that honestly makes me sad, man. That genuinely makes me sad. Screw you, EA. I'm fucking out.